Hi, Steve. The defense that your group played tonight, especially in the interior down the stretch, missing two of your top defenders. I mean, just how much did that? It also led to some spectacular offense. How much did that mean?
Yeah, the defense has been good all series. It's just that in the first two games, we didn't rebound, so we didn't complete the possessions, and we turned it over, so they scored a ton in transition. So tonight was about taking care of the glass and taking care of the ball. And our half-court defense was really good. Our guys were playing with a lot of energy, and eventually, that's going to lead to offense, just getting out in transition, and that we finally broke through offensively in the second half. But the game went the way it did because we took care of the ball.
You said you were extremely surprised by Draymond's suspension. Just what did you think about, in general, the way that you guys responded without having him on the floor tonight?
Yeah, our guys were locked in yesterday when the news came in, and we turned the page pretty quickly. There's no need to, as I said yesterday, there's no need to belabor the point. It's just the league made the decision, so you only have one path to take, and that's get ready for the next one, and that's what our guys did.
Steve, you got pretty important minutes out of Moody and Kuminga. Did you know that you were going to rely on them in this game, or was it something that they kind of earned those minutes?
Yeah, both guys were in the rotation plans going into the game, that Moses, really got us going in that first half with those 2 threes, and J.K. after a slow start gave us some good minutes in the second half. So it's good to see the young guys come through.
Hey, Coach. Before the game, you mentioned John wouldn't be quick, but don't hurry. How'd you feel your guys did in terms of not rushing, but still remaining under control?
That was the key. Just wasn't so much about the pace as it was about the decision making. And we had some early crazy ones that we kind of got away with. And as the game went on, I think the guys understood, just what that decision making was doing. Forcing Sacramento to play in the half court where we've been making it tough on them, throughout the series.
Looney had 20 rebounds, 9 assists, guarded Sabonis, obviously. What did overall you think of his game, and particularly with the 9 assists, how much does his responsibility there go up with no Draymond? Yeah,
I mean, the way we've been playing, the two of them have been trading off on Sabonis after we started, start with the first 6 minutes or so with both of them on the floor. First 2 games of the series, they were flip-flopping, and but tonight, obviously, he took him most of the game. I thought JaMychal came in, did a really good job on him as well, and but this is Loon. This is who he is. We've seen it in the playoffs for years now. He's always locked into the game plan. He never makes mistakes. He rebounds like crazy. He makes the right decision. The game is much simpler when Loon is out there for our guys.
Following up on Kevon, we were talking a lot about rebounding, right, heading into this game. As Slater said, he had 20. Just what did you see from his effort on the boards? How was it different, than in those past games, and how did you just
the energy from our whole team allowed us to control the glass. So, we were hitting bodies early rather than what we were doing in Sacramento where we were ball watching, and everybody else boxing out allowed Loon to get a lot of those defensive boards, and then offensively, I think we spaced them out pretty well, and then Loon was in the pocket, on our pick and rolls and just going right to the rim, so he found a lot of offensive rebounding opportunities.
Steve, you mentioned Moody and Kuminga. How essential is it, if you're going to win this series, to get contributions from 7, 8, 9 on the roster, on the bench? In the context of, throughout this run, these last 9, 10 years, you've always gotten in the playoffs some sort of unexpected big games from Livingston, Ian Clark, Mo Spates, whatever.
Yeah, that's what the playoffs are about. You ride with your stars, and then the guys, the role players need to step up and make plays, and our guys did that tonight. So could be someone different next game. I just thought that all those guys came in. I thought Dante was fantastic. You know, he didn't shoot the ball particularly well, but he was all over the glass. He handled the ball. He had 8 assists. Took some pressure off of Steph and Jordan, and got us into our flow.
Steve, Steph took 25 shots. They looked like all like really good shots. Was it a schematic change, or was it just like Steph being Steph and figuring out the defense?
No, there was nothing different schematically. It was just, you know, we controlled the game and you know, again, with our rebounding, with our defense, and he saw where he could attack, and he's been doing this for so long. He figures out the game pretty quickly and sees what's out there, and then reacts accordingly.
Do you do anything when you hit 12 turnovers? Like, the goal, you're like 12 turnovers or less would be ideal. You hit it. Do you like celebrate somehow? Because it's that rare.
I'm going to have a margarita right now. But I was going to do that even if we had 25 turnovers.
Steve, before the game, you had said that you expected the crowd to supplant Draymond's energy. You're 12-1 in this building. I'm just wondering, how do you think the crowd did tonight, and what is it about Chase?
Crowd was great. I mean, I know it's a different arena than Oracle, but it's the same dynamic, which is, the Bay Area is a basketball hotbed. People love basketball here, and so whether it was at Oracle or Chase, we just have great basketball fans in the area, and I do like that this building, the roof is not sky high like a lot of the new arenas. They built this arena so that it was, pretty intimate, and our crowd, you can feel the crowd. They're right on top of you, and it's become a great home floor for us.
Steve, we've seen big scoring nights from Steph, but 36 points and only 1 turnover. What does that say about only 1 turnover with 36 points? What does it say about his style to kind of have everything under control like he did tonight?
Well, again, that was that's been the message, and that was the key. And Steph is our point guard, so it starts with him. And our guys followed suit, and we, for the most part, just stacked good possessions on top of one another, and understood the value of, even if we're not scoring, get control of the ball, don't give them transition opportunities, and make them score in the half court. That's kind of playoff basketball in general, but definitely against a team like Sacramento that thrives in transition.
Steve, it feels like a simple question, but how does this win change the dynamic of the series?
Well, nothing's happened yet. This is how the series, these series are designed, right? It's 2-2, and then you go 1-1-1, and until somebody wins a road game, it's just everybody's just holding serve. So that's all that's happened so far.
They're 27% from 3 in the series on a pretty high volume. Do you feel like you guys are defending the 3 very well, or is it just kind of variance in their cold right now?
I'm not going to sit here and pretend that we have forced every 3 that they've taken to be a difficult one, but that's the plan. We're trying to do that as best we can, and I'm sure they're going to have a game, where they knock down some more 3s, but we can withstand that as long as we're doing what we did tonight, rebounding and taking care of the ball. Thanks.
As champions, Golden State did exactly what they were supposed to do. They came home and they upped the level of physicality. They were the more physical team tonight on both ends of the floor. And it resulted in 22 points off our turnovers and 24 points off their offensive rebounds. We couldn't do anything with Loon tonight. Even Dante DiVincenzo rebounding from the perimeter. I mean, he was really, really good for them. And those 2 guys, Loon with 9 offensive rebounds, Dante with 4 offensive rebounds, and then you had a couple other guys get 2 and 1. You know, that plus the points off our turnovers were the biggest difference in the game. You know, you think you're playing the Warriors, and they shoot 40% from the field and 32% from the three. You think you have a chance to win, but when you don't bring it in those areas like they did tonight, especially with their championship pedigree, it's going to be tough to win. So you got to give them credit because that's where credit is due, and we got to watch the film and see where we can get a little bit better and come out with more physicality and pace in our next game.
Mike, right here. It feels like they're mucking up your offense pretty well. What is it that they're doing, and how do you guys get better looks from three? You guys haven't shot well the entire series.
When we go back and watch the film, we're you give them credit though, but we're missing some open threes. I thought Keegan had a couple open. I thought Fox had it, and they're they're trying to make certain guys shoot open threes, and we definitely didn't make them tonight. But for the most part, I would take all the threes that we took tonight. We got to do a better job of, they're collapsing everybody when we drive to the rim, and so we have to do a better job of playing off of 2 feet and not try to score over top of 2 and sometimes 3 guys. So we got to do a better job with our spray game because it wasn't good tonight. But I'm okay with the threes that we're taking. They are mucking. They did a great job mucking us up offensively tonight just because their physicality was definitely at a higher level than ours.
Hey, Mike, right over here. Pace, it looked like the Warriors slowed down their pace, didn't push the ball. Steph was bringing the ball up, especially off of a defensive rebound. Did you think that affected you guys at all?
No, I thought in the first half our pace wasn't good. We did a better job with it in the second half, but I don't. They can play at whatever pace they want. We still just got to try to play fast because we've gone against teams that don't necessarily want to run when we play them, and we still do a pretty good job of getting out. I thought in the second half we did a better job of it.
Coach Brown, Tony Arby, NBC Sports Radio. Kevon Looney, you work with this guy. You had a monster game tonight. You talk a little bit about what he was doing, especially like on the offensive end.
I mean, he was doing what he does. He's got a big, strong body, but he's about as smart as they come, and so he understands angles and all that other stuff. And at the last second, he does a great job of nudging you so that he has an advantage. And we didn't do a good job of gang rebounding against him. You got to send 2 guys to his body most times to keep him off the glass. If you don't, you're in trouble.
Mike, in the back here. You got Domas 10 assists through 3 games, and you're getting asked this question every night. But the first 2 games, you win without him doing what he does offensively. And Looney's a tough matchup. How much of it is that? How much of it is Domas struggling? What are you seeing there?
No, so they're doing a great job again with their physicality. We love, everybody knows it. We play the DHO game, and they're doing a great job of getting into our bodies and blowing up the DHO game, and so that's why the assists aren't there. If there's anything that Domas has to do is when he gets in the paint, sometimes he plays off of 1 foot or he jumps in the air, and they're playing him one-on-one. And so he's got to either finish at the rim or he's got to come to a jump stop and think spray if possible, because it looks like somebody's open because they're looking like they're coming to help, but at the last second they're just like, screw it, I'm going to stay out on the shooter and let Domas try to make a play because they know that he's a very good passer.
Coach, well, congratulations on Coach of the Year, by the way.
Thank you, sir.
In terms of Keegan, why do you think he's had these struggles so far? And typically, what is your mentality with rookies in the playoffs?
Well, not many rookies are are starting for, a playoff team and playing a significant role like he is. So, this is great for him to go through. We want him to stay aggressive. We want him to keep shooting the ball. We feel like he's getting some pretty good looks. They're just not going in, but I think they will go in. That's why we want him to keep shooting it and then try to play defense the right way and see if he can get out and get some easies in transition. So this is just really new it's new for a lot of our guys, but this is really new for him. And I mean, we love him. We're going to have patience with him, and we're going to give him a chance to succeed. But he's got to go through these growing pains in order to figure it out.
Mike, just generally, do you believe in momentum in a playoff series? And if so, what's going to be key for you guys on Sunday to try to snatch it back?
I mean, it can happen. Each of these games is just so different, you're able to go back and reset and figure out what you did wrong in the last game. And, like I said, they know everything we're trying to do. And you got to give them credit for the way that they played tonight. So I don't look at it as, we had momentum after the first two games. Now they have momentum. We got to come out and we got to be more physical than what we did tonight on both ends. We got to set better screens. We got to be stronger with the ball because they're swiping down and they may or may not be hitting us, but it's not going to get called for either team. So what does that mean? We got to be stronger with the ball. On the defense end of the floor, we got to get up into them. They had a lot of freedom of movement tonight that they hadn't had in the previous two games because we weren't as physical as we were those first two games. And so it's pretty simple, in my opinion. But we just got to go do it now.
Yeah, Looney had back to left.
Okay.
Looney had 9 offensive rebounds tonight. I think he led the league this year in offensive rebounds. What do you have to do better against him? I mean, he's not a high-flying offensive rebounder, but he just seems to get a ton.
Yeah, because he's smart, he's strong, he's relentless. So we got to gang rebound. We did a decent job of gang rebounding the first two games against him. I mean, sending a second body at him at times. But we can't allow him to go one-on-one with Domas or Alex because, he's obviously, especially tonight, done a good job of winning that battle. So you got to send a second body at him a little more than what we did as opposed to just kind of standing and watching and thinking that he's going to come up with the rebound.
Mark Haynes, Sac Observer. Would this being you guys' first defeated, is this kind of like your team's welcome to the playoff moment?
I don't know. I don't know. It's a good question. At least I don't look at it that way. I mean, look, they're the NBA champions. Nobody said we were gonna go into the series and sweep them or go 4-0. This is what the playoffs are about. We won 2 tough games at home. We did a great job in the areas that we emphasize. We didn't tonight, and they did, and I mean, that's why they're champions. They're more than capable, and they did exactly what they were supposed to do tonight. So you give them credit, and you figure out what you did wrong, and you try to get after it a little bit better in the next game. But I don't know if I look at it as welcome to the playoffs, because game 1 for us was, in my opinion, was that.
Mike, 2 questions. Number one, it seemed like first quarter, third quarter, when you brought Davion in, they took Steph out. Do you think that was coincidence, or does that feel like an adjustment on their side?
It might be. You would have to ask them, that their rotations were different because they were missing 2 guys that play minutes for them, Gary and Draymond. So we knew their rotations were going to be different. So I don't know. You would have to ask Steve if it was because of those 2 guys being missing or if it was because they were trying to, I guess, take Steph out when Davion came in.
Okay, and you've been in this environment so many times, kind of a first time for your team in a playoff atmosphere. How did you think they responded? There were some early turnovers, early fouls. Did it feel like they were rattled a little bit, and can they learn from that and grow between this game and the next one?
Heck yeah! Every time we step on the floor, we're growing. Whether we win or we lose, tonight they just our group had a chance to experience what a championship team does when their back's against the wall. So again, the physicality and their will to try to do things to help them win was evident. And they did all the small things that we had been doing a pretty good job of in games 1 and 2. So, great test for us, great way to learn, and we'll try to go watch the film and come back for game 4 and be a little bit better in those areas.
Coach, just that third quarter especially looked like there was some frustrations there. How much did that have to do with, either some of the unfamiliar personnel or some of that physicality on your guys' end?
There was frustration throughout the game. You give up, what did I say, 19 offensive rebounds, and every time we turn it over, they're scoring. That's not fun, So there was frustration throughout the course of the game. I don't know if it was just in the third. The third was the only quarter that we tied or won. We didn't even win a quarter. We tied them in the third. So we have to do a better job in those two areas. Taking care of the ball and then putting bodies on bodies so that they're not getting 24, 25 second chance points.
Hey, Coach, over here. To bounce off Keegan and his struggles, he's not one to get too high or too low, but how do you feel he's doing mentally during these struggles? And is there anyone on the team that he kind of turns to and has those type of conversations with to seek any advice or, have those types of conversations with?
You'd have to ask him that question. I don't know who he talks to on the team when it comes to that stuff, but this is good for him. Again, we got confidence in him. We want him to continue to let that thing fly. He's got to play D. He's got to box out, and he's going to learn and grow through experiences like this, and that's why he's out on the floor. He's done a fantastic job for us all season, and this is a different level, and it's a level that he's got to get used to because, we plan on being here.
Yeah, Coach, over on your right over here.
Okay.
In the home game against New York earlier this year, I think it was 22 or 23 offensive rebounds that your guys allowed, and you were very clearly frustrated in that post-game presser. I'm curious how your message is different tonight or how you go about differently displaying that frustration to your group because it's the postseason.
Well, I think I said this before a couple of times. During the post, you do a lot of your hard coaching during the regular season. Stuff's going to happen. These guys are NBA champions. They got the DNA of knowing how to win, and especially when their backs are against the wall. And so, for me to get after them now, they know our guys know what they did. I told them, they're going to see it on the film tomorrow, but in the same breath, we got to keep our heads up. This is one game. The series is not over. We got to regroup, stay positive, and understand, you give them their respect, but now we have to come back and try to, hit first, hit second, hit third in our next game. It's as simple as that. This is a learning and growing experience for us against the champions, and again, it's not time for me to do that right now. That's left for the preseason and regular season. Thank you, guys.
Kevon, Kerr said that kind of the mood was set yesterday. You're not feeling sorry for yourselves. You're thinking of Draymond getting suspended, and you're set on this game. Did you feel that things were kind of clicking in? This game basically started yesterday.
Definitely, no. We knew what we had to do to win the game.
kept falling up. We had the right game plan for the first 2 games, but we kept falling up short. We didn't execute it how we wanted to, and we was all locked in, watched a lot of film, and just the mood around the whole team that we was locked in, and our focus rose even more.
Hey, Kevon. Last week, Bob Myers called your offensive rebounding Rodman-like, the kind of rebounds that you grab. I mean, I know that's big names, big company, but with a 20 rebound performance tonight, did you feel like everything that was coming off the rim was yours?
Definitely. That's great praise for, especially from Bob. He's seen a lot of basketball, so that's big time. And sometimes as a rebounder, you can get in the zone, just how Steph and them 3-point shooters get in the zone. As a rebounder, I feel the same way sometimes. Like I know where the ball is going. Every time I touch it, it seems to go my way. The tips going my way, and different things like that. So, I wanted to come in and focus on getting more rebounds. The first 2 games, I think I did a good job rebounding. Me and Decky talked about it before the game. Being more aggressive, using more position, and not just pushing and shoving, but using the skills I have. And I think I did a good job at that.
Kevon, how essential were the contributions from Moody and Dante and the guys off the bench who maybe haven't been prominent in the first 2 games? And I'm curious, sort of going back in time, why you guys always seem to get sort of big contributions from the bench in the playoffs in particular.
Yeah, I think they were great tonight, just setting the tone of being physical. Dante was, I think he had 4 or 5 steals. He was everywhere, flying in, offensive rebounds, defensive rebounds. Moses was great with his physicality. Hit a couple threes, finishing at the rim. And I think they all provided a spark. J. Mike was great, rebounding and just setting the tone physically. And I think that's what we had kind of been missing. And at home, Steve usually gives everybody a shot in the playoffs. And I think everybody stepped up, and we don't need them to continue to step up to win the series.
Hey, Kevon. Coach Kerr has obviously been preaching taking care of the ball after the first 2 games. Knowing with Draymond out that you were going to get probably some more playmaking opportunities, how did you kind of balance not wanting to turn the ball over but also wanting to make quick, good decisions?
It's something that we, as me, Draymond, other bigs, we all practice this every day in practice. Something we go over since I've been here, playing out of the pocket. Steph and Clay draw someone's attention that you got to be able to make the right plays. So I was just hitting the open man. And not rushing, slowing down, and trying to make the right decisions. And guys making shots, and I was able to get a lot of assists today. And so I don't get to get a lot of playmaking opportunities all the time, but tonight was my night, and I did the right decisions.
Kevon, after the game on TNT, Steph said, "They say Draymond's got a history, so do we." How does your history motivate you guys?
We're a team with a lot of pride. We know how to respond when our back against the wall. We always usually show up. I think Draymond knew that. Without him not playing, he knew how we was going to respond. He know that we can count on us to hold down the fort while he's out. And we're excited to get him back next game. We don't want to keep having to do that. But for one game, he know that we can take care of business. We got a lot of guys who are champions for a reason and made a lot of history in this league for a reason. So we know how to win games. We got to continue to do that. And we know the series, one game is just one game. We got to continue to take care of business.
To follow up on that, Kevon, Steph Curry tonight, 36 points, 1 turnover. You've been around him so much as a competitor. Can you kind of feel when he's locked in, back against the wall like you were talking about?
Definitely. His focus level was insane tonight. He did everything for us, for getting us in our spots, knowing when to push the pace, knowing when to slow us down. Knowing when to get guys shots. They threw a lot of different defenses at him, and he was able to manipulate all of them and get us in our spots and get us good shots. And I think he had a great floor game, and that was a big part of the reason why we won.
Did Draymond give either you personally or the team a pep talk yesterday?
Definitely. Yeah, he definitely gave us a pep talk. He usually always gives us one before the playoffs, but this was definitely a good one in practice the other day. Told us what the keys was for us to win, and we went out there and executed tonight.
Steve said the past couple games, there's been a lot of ball watching when it comes to rebounding. So what was kind of, the mindset heading into just being more aggressive and limiting yourself from watching the ball more?
Yeah, we wanted to hit first today. I think last and on the road, we were ball watching. They was running in. They was hitting us first. They was the aggressor. But I feel like I think Dante, Moses, all those guys, Steph, Clay, Wiggins, they was real locked in on that end of hitting guys first and then going to get the ball. And I think it made a big difference in our rebounding tonight. We gave us some offensive rebounds, but we didn't give up a lot like we did the first 2 games.
Several of your assists came after your own offensive rebound. how much of a scramble or how wide open is the court often, after an offensive rebound?
Definitely, it's always a scramble. We got the best shooters in the league on our team, so I know if I get the rebound, everybody's out of position. If I can find them, they usually don't get a wide open three. When I first came in the league, usually when you get an offensive rebound, you taught to just go back up and try to get your own points. But I remember Ron Adams kept yelling at me, just kick it out. We got Steph Curry and Clay on our team. Just pass it to them. And it's been working for me, and it gives a lot of good opportunities to get them open shots.
How do you decide, when to try to put it back and when to just immediately turn and look?
It kind of depends. Like, if I got 2 feet in the paint when I get the rebound, I usually try to go back up. But if it's like a long one or I feel like it's not going to be an easy layup, I kick it back out. So if I'm not wide open, I usually pass it out.
Kevon, the smothering defense you guys played in the paint, how much did that lead to some of the spectacular plays like Kuminga and a stretch there with the dunk and the drive? And just you took on a big load with Sabonis there, and that really sparked him.
Yes, definitely. Whenever we are able to rebound and get out and transition, we're pretty deadly. I think the first 2 games, like they beat us on all the boards, so we had to play a lot in the half court. But tonight we was able to, get rebounds and get stops, and able to get out and transition. We're pretty tough to slow down when we get out and run. We got athletes like J.K. and Wiggins and shooters as Clay and Steph and J.P. So we're pretty tough in space, and I think we did a good job of just getting the ball and pushing it.
De'Aaron, what's just the level of frustration after that game, especially just the way that your offense kind of came to a screeching halt?
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think we got good looks. I mean, there were times where we just weren't making shots. But we have to be more physical offensively. We have to be able to get to our spots regardless of what's going on off ball, and just try to get each other open.
De'Aaron, Coach said this is going to be a great test for this group. What do you think you guys learned the most out of today's game?
Oh, I mean, on the road, you can't give up. 18 offensive rebounds. You're not going to win the game. And 24 second chance points. That's too much to overcome. On top of 15 turnovers. So we have to be better taking care of the ball and just limiting their second chances.
De'Aaron, this is your guys' first playoff experience in this building. I just wonder what that felt like at the beginning of the game, whether it took some time to adjust to that, and if you can kind of learn from the experience going into the next game here.
I mean, at the end of the day, you're still playing basketball. There are no gimmicks to it. We've played in this building before. Obviously, they're loud. This is a well-experienced team, but at the end of the day, you got to go out there and you got to play. So there's nothing special that I took from it. But like I said, at the end of the day, we can't give up almost 20 offensive rebounds and 25 second chance points. We're not going to win the game, especially not on the road that way.
Yeah, De'Aaron, pace has been a big theme in this series. How do you feel like you guys did in controlling the pace tonight? And if you're unsatisfied, how do you shift that back in your direction?
I think they dictated the entire game tonight. I think they came out, they hit us first. And we really didn't respond, too well. I think there were times where we got it into single digits, but they responded and broke the lead back up. So for us, defensively, we have to start with getting stops and just try to get out in transition.
De'Aaron, Coach did talk about those offensive rebounds. I think it was about 18, 19 that you guys gave up. From your perspective, what was you guys not doing, for that, in order for that to happen?
Obviously, Kevon's a load down there, but we have to try to help Domas, but also knowing that guys like Dante and Wiggs and Kuminga are coming, and they're crashing from the corner, from the top. They're crashing. We just have to be able to put a body on them. Obviously, that's what they do, especially at home. Like, it's one of the best home teams in the league. So we have to just try to be able to limit them.
Hey, Fox, just when you think of the physicality in this game, obviously you were talking about how much they were the more physical team tonight. Was it based on what you'd done in the first 2 games? Did you feel there was more of a timidness on your guys' end as you approached it?
I wouldn't say that, but obviously, Keegan picks up 3 fouls in the first quarter, so you want to see how the game's officiated. But I wouldn't I wouldn't say that. I think they were just the more physical team, both offensively and defensively. And I think the turnovers and their offensive rebound showed it.
De'Aaron, as a guy in your position, what's your approach in terms of helping the guys on the bench maybe bounce back from this one going into Sunday?
I mean, just try to instill confidence. I mean, we're still up. It's not like we're down in the series. This is a tough place to win at, and I think everybody in the locker room knows that. But we have to go out and we have to control what we can control, and that would be limiting their second chance points and getting out in transition. Those are things that are effort stats, and that's what we can control. At the end of the day, at times you're not going to make shots. You can be wide open. Sometimes it just might not be your day. But if we don't give up almost 20 offensive rebounds, this might look like a different game.
De'Aaron, with Keegan struggling the way he is, and this being, his first year in the NBA, first playoffs and all that, are you guys, or are you personally, giving him any type of words of encouragement or anything like that?
Yeah, I mean, I continue to encourage him even throughout the game. It's difficult, especially for a rookie who played big minutes for us all season. I mean, he broke the three-point record for a reason, so we know he's skilled. We know he can play. Obviously, the physicality and everything has risen. The intensity of the game has risen, and he struggled a bit. But for us, we need and we want him to get going, and we're not gonna take that away from him.
Moses, in game one, you didn't play any in game one. You got about 8.5 minutes in game two. Steve said that you kind of earned your way into the rotation tonight. Was there any kind of conversation, especially with Draymond out, Gary out, as far as what your role would be going into tonight?
Nothing's necessarily certain going into the game, but Draymond came to practice the other day and really talked to everybody, saying everybody gonna have to step up, play more minutes, take on some of his role. Then the GP thing was last minute too, so yeah, nothing was set in stone beforehand.
What did you just think about your guys' energy right from the start tonight?
Yeah, it was great. And some of that has got to go to the fans. It was a great turnout. They came out. They gave us energy. We fed off of that all game.
Yesterday, Bob Myers said the attitude has to be you can't complain. It happened. No arguing about it. Was that happening immediately for you guys? Was that easy to do? You say, you know what, it happened. Now we just got to go win a basketball game.
Yeah, I mean, just like anything in life, you can't really, once the decision is made and it's set, you complaining about it don't really do you that much good, especially when you got a must-win game coming up. So we had to deal with it, and we got the job done.
Hey, Moses, over here. When you're getting irregular minutes and you don't know when you're going to go in, when you get into the game, it might seem natural to try to kind of feel it out and see how the game's going. But on this team, if you get an open shot, you got to take it. So how do you prepare for coming into a game and not necessarily being in the flow and just having to be ready to shoot?
Yeah, I don't necessarily get regular minutes. So when all year it's been the same situation, same circumstances. Coming in, you don't know if you're going to get 2 minutes or 25 minutes. So I've had a lot of practice at it, and so at this point, it's the playoffs, so it's obviously a different circumstance, but just coming in there and do what I've been doing.
This is the second straight year you've, kind of been injected into the rotation during the playoffs. What do you like about playoff basketball, and what do you think maybe your game translates well to this type of basketball?
Humbly speaking, I've always been a winner. Throughout since I was a kid playing, we won my team. We was the Magic. We won the Pinnock Boys and Girls Club championship. So I always been in winning situations, playing with a lot to lose. Must-win situations, must-win games. Had a lot of practice at it. I'm not gonna act like I got the ultimate poise or anything or any of that, but. I like the moment. I like this situation. High-intensity basketball, every possession means a lot. That's how I've always played. So
you got these important minutes. Kuminga's playing big minutes and producing in the fourth quarter. Is there some pride? Some of the young guys, we talk about the youth brigade. We talk about the young guys coming on. Some pride that you two guys did do it in this game?
Yeah, I mean, I don't even necessarily feel that young guys versus old guys or any of that. It's I feel like it's must-win game, so everybody's got to handle their own and do their part to win a must-win.
Moses, you just talked about being a winner, and obviously all of your teammates have won for a long time. How do you think the history of winning and wanting to keep winning motivates you guys in a game like this, and essentially a must-have game?
Yeah, I feel like winning is a skill, and some people coming up as a kid, you might not have been on a good team. Then you go to college, and your college might not have been that good, or your high school, you might have been the best one, but your team doesn't win. You come to the NBA, you might go to a team that's not that good. So you've never really been in that circumstance coming up. So I feel like that's really a positive when you can and you're used to it, used to not necessarily winning, but fighting to win or sacrificing to win. All the things that go into winning.
Yeah, Harrison. What do you feel like led to the difference in physicality tonight compared to the first two games, and does being on the road play a factor at all?
I mean, I think they just came out with greater sense of urgency than what we had tonight. They definitely got us out of what we normally do. In the first two games, I thought we had a greater sense. They came out with desperation, down 0-2. So, for us, we have to make a commitment to doing all the little things.
Harrison, the first two games, they're fun. You guys had a good time. You won. How much is this one of those games where you step in as a leader and talk to the team and help them, since you've been through something like this before?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think, no matter what, you have to understand that these guys aren't going to lay down. They have a lot of pride. They've won a championship. So, for us, no matter what the series is at, we still have to compete with the same level of focus, that we had in Game 1 and Game 2. And we didn't have that tonight. We have to acknowledge that, own that, and, come prepared for Game 4.
HB, what do you think the reason for the shooting struggles, especially with the guys like Herter, Keegan, Malik, just wasn't flying behind the arc today? What do you think the reason for it was?
I mean, it's the playoffs. I mean, those guys are, great shooters. 40% three-point shooters, all of that type of stuff. I mean, teams are going to game plan for that. So, as a group, we have to adjust. We have to understand that, their defensive game plan is not going to be to let them get wide open looks, to make them have challenged, contested looks, to make them work, to get open, to get clean looks off. So, as a group, we have to help them, but just understanding that there's other ways you can impact the game other than shooting. If we're going to rely on, guys rattling off 5, 6, 7 threes a game, for them to have an impact on the game, then it's going to be a long series for us.
HB, Mark Haynes, Sac Observer. When you look at how the series has been going so far, and you lose a game like this with Draymond Green out in GP2, do you feel like it's like a missed opportunity in any way?
Yeah, I mean, I think that regardless of who was playing, it was a missed opportunity just because we didn't match the level of physicality and effort that they showed on the offensive rebounds. I think for us, if you go into a game and you say, okay, this is what we're going to give up, this is, how we're going to play, tonight was all the ways that we don't want to lose a game. So I think from that standpoint, it's a missed opportunity for us.
HB, how what did the energy and the environment kind of feel like, especially early on, and how challenging is that to walk in here and play in a building like this, and how do you adjust to that going forward?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, we knew it was going to be a lively crowd and things like that, but I just think their physicality, we have to meet force with force. And like I said, I think in Game 1 and Game 2 we did that. I think at the beginning of the game we didn't necessarily run our offense as we didn't execute our offense as crisp as we normally do defensively, and they didn't really feel us, and they were kind of just running around getting wide open shots. So, those are things that we have to just be better at in Game 4.
HB over here. Was that a from what you saw from the Warriors in Game 1 and 2? How different do you feel they were given some of the personnel that they were playing, and maybe how foreign that could have been to you guys?
I don't think it was foreign. I mean, I think we knew that. I don't pay attention to much, in terms of like the stat sheet, but Moses Moody had an impact on the game. I thought his energy, cutting, rebounding. I mean, he had an impact. So, I think for us, it's a matter of understanding that all those little plays, they add up. It may just be an offensive rebound there for him or a layup for him, but that opens up something else for Steph later that, is going to snowball. So for us, it's a matter of taking whoever is out on the court, paying attention to what they do, and like I said, matching their effort.
Harrison, how can, being better on the glass and being better at not turning the ball over impact shooting from role players? Like how can improving those areas allow those guys maybe easier looks where to maybe play a little bit more free or in a tough environment?
I mean, it's finishing possessions. In the first half, I mean, they were shooting, I think, sub 40%. If you get rebounds on those possessions, you push. Maybe it's a wide open transition three for a guy. Maybe it's a transition layup. Little things like that can kind of get a guy going when they haven't seen the ball go through the basket. A foul, free throws, whatever it may be. But, if you're taking the ball out of the net every single time, you're playing in front of a set defense every single time, it's going to be tougher, as this series progresses and, throughout the whole playoffs. I mean, to get, your guys good looks.
HB, Coach talked about your pace and it not being as fast as you guys wanted it to be. He said he wanted you guys to play faster than you did in the regular season. What do you think slowed you guys down tonight?
Taking the ball out of the net. I mean, like I said, you play 20 seconds, 23 seconds of great defense. You get them to miss a shot, and then, you should be, off to the races. And offensive rebound, kick out three. Offensive rebound, foul, 2 free throws, taking the ball out the net. Yes, you can run on makes, but, when you've done the work to get the stop, you got to reward yourself. That's what fuels your offense. So, those are opportunities that we missed tonight. I think that allowed them to get a rhythm and, things you have to do better at in Game 4.
You talked about Moody's impact tonight, and they played a lot of small ball, a lot of 5-out tonight. Specifically, how tough is that defensively to guard when they go that small?
I mean, look, regardless of who they have on the court, it's going to be difficult. But like I said, it's those extra possessions. And obviously, give credit to Loon. I mean, he had a great game for them in terms of just the energy and the impact he gave them, the extra possessions. But like I said, I mean, if you do the work to get the stop and to make them shoot a tough shot and then they get a rebound, that's going to be devastating for us. And I think that, like I said, Game 1, Game 2, I thought we had that under control. Tonight, we weren't as sharp with that. And Game 4, I mean, it's going to be a matter of wills. Who's going to do the little things to come up with those stops, come up with those rebounds, offensively and defensively. And tonight, we didn't do that. Appreciate it, guys.
Steph, I think you were plus 24 and maybe plus 39 or 38 for the series. Do you feel like when you're on the floor, you are the better team and you have the advantages that you need to have in the series?
I mean, I can say that, but you got to go out and, execute and do it consistently, and especially for us to get back in the series. So, consider how the first 2 games went, on the road with our road struggles all year. We still had a chance to, get Game 1, possession here, possession there. Game 2 is tied with 4 minutes left, 5 minutes left, whatever it was. So we've shown that, despite our self-inflicted wounds with turnovers and, giving up offensive rebounds, that, we're capable of beating that team any night. It's just nice to have something to show for it now. So, the minutes that I'm out there, just try to be assertive, aggressive, take care of the basketball, control the pace. Then we all did that, a lot better tonight, and that helped our defense. And, I know we can shoot the ball better as a whole. And, I like the momentum that we created tonight. We just got to take advantage of it.
What was the reason for the multiple rests in I think it was the first half? I don't think we've seen that.
The what?
The 2 sits, the 2
We just want to
sit.
keep y'all guessing with my rotations and the minutes, considering I got that question Game 1. So I might, switch it up again in Game 4. We'll see.
Steph, over here. You guys have always talked in the past about flipping the switch when you guys have your backs against the wall. Did you feel this was kind of like a vintage game tonight where you guys were able to do that, especially in light of the fact that you didn't have both Draymond and GP2 out there?
This is what we're supposed to do. I mean, being down those two guys who bring so much to our defensive side and just our identity as a whole, we had to have guys step up. So we obviously understand the consequences of if we lost tonight, and nobody wanted to feel that. So it was a very focused effort, great energy from everybody that stepped foot on the floor. Even just the defensive numbers were amazing tonight, and you might be surprised considering Draymond and GP2 were out. Like it's just a way that we are able to kind of galvanize a great effort. Dante played amazing off the bench. Mo gave us great minutes. JK the same. J. Mike, A. Lamb, everybody who stepped foot on the floor in the rotations understood the assignments and did it to the best of their ability. So when we get our two guys back, we got to continue to do that with, whatever you're asked to do. And we have a great opportunity to even the series on Sunday and take it from there.
Hi, Steph. You guys got 22 turnovers in game 2 and just 11 turnovers in this game. How much do you like the taking care of the ball and making a quickly decisions?
Kind of what I was saying about the first two games, even with 20-plus turnovers each game, I think we still had a chance to win. So if you can give ourselves a better chance in the possession game, we got 8 more shots than they did. Have 5 more offensive rebounds. And then, like you said, the turnovers, that just allows us to control momentum. Whether shots fall or not, you always have your defense set. You're not giving them easy points because they're extremely fast and athletic, and that gives them momentum. So it's a good lesson for us of how to, control each offensive possession, figure out, how we can create space and create open looks, and, win the possession game, which has historically been a good thing for us, considering how highly potent we are offensively.
Steph, Kevon just said that sometimes as a rebounder, you can get in a zone the way Steph can get in a zone or the three-point shooters can. I mean, he knows where the ball is going to be. The tips are going his way. It works. I mean, do you see that with him? And right now, especially and on the big playoff stage, that he just has a knack for it?
Yeah, he's relentless. Like you say, I don't know what that probably feels like, but it's just the way you see the ball, angles, your effort, knowing that it's going to be physical, you're going to get knocked around, but he's ready to take all that physicality, and then he has to guard it. It's a tough matchup on the other side, so he knows how to be effective. When he's out there, he's shown it plenty of times before, and it was a huge 9 offensive rebounds. It's huge for us to give us extra possessions because we were getting pretty solid looks for most of the game, just weren't hitting a lot of them, but he was getting us extra possessions, and that gets the crowd into it, gets our momentum on our side, and it's amazing to watch. All that's big, like you said, momentum. I thought I made the first one. It bounces right to him. He makes a split decision to kick it back out. So we needed it. We needed every bit of it, and I know he relishes those opportunities to make his presence felt in a very unique way.
Following up on Loon, you guys went 9 for 9 off of his passes. How big is that, especially without Draymond, the playmaking and facilitating he has, to have Loon also step up in that regard?
I mean, it's huge because it's kind of the pattern of basketball at any level. Offensive rebounds are usually, once you get the possession, there's going to be somebody open because everybody's kind of scattered. So it's just a great look for us to create good offense, and then, a second chance. Everybody's kind of in rhythm. You're stepping in. It's like what the game kind of calls for, and you knock them down.
Steph, I know you say that you hear everything, and there's been a lot of chatter the last couple of days with you guys in the 0-2 hole, the Draymond firestorm. You know, is the dynasty over? Are you guys too old? I'm just wondering, did you come out feeling like you guys had something to prove tonight?
I mean, you bottle up all of that noise and the potential like distractions of, you know, Draymond being out, what the narrative is or whatever. You bottle all that up, and all it is just a sense of pride and of who we are capable of being, and coming with the right energy to kind of prove that we, you know, can create some life for ourselves. So, I mean, pretty bluntly, if we lost this game, it's pretty much over. So you gotta understand the moment, and we gave ourselves life. The biggest thing is we've been here before, or we've been in a situation where momentum doesn't necessarily carry over from game to game unless you execute at the same level. So, it's just one game, but it was a big game for sure.
Andrew, a couple guys have spoken just about the defense sparking some spectacular offense, and there was a sequence there when you had a block and then moments later a big three. I mean, how much were you guys feeding off of, big defensive plays and rebounds and all the things that you talked about leading into this game?
Yeah, I mean, we need it. That's what's going to fuel us, every game. Even when things aren't going our way, that's something that we should be able to depend on, is the rebounding, the defense, the hard work, and just trying to make the other team uncomfortable.
Hey, Andrew. First, I just want to share with you that a lot of your fans in China and Asia are just so happy and excited to see you back in action. My question is pretty simple. I just wanted to ask you, how do you feel, to play on the home court after several months, a while?
Yeah, it feels great, being back, especially in this atmosphere. We got the best fans in the world, and every time you step on that court, they make you feel appreciated. So I love them back.
Andrew, 3 rebounds in the first game for you, 5 the next, 7 tonight. How much of that was an emphasis for you personally, especially with Draymond out and Gary out? And how does it kind of say where you are physically right now?
Yeah, I feel like with Draymond out, with GP out, everyone had to, fill in those shoes together and rebound the ball. I feel like that's what's going to take us over the top, is rebounding. And I feel like every game, I'm just getting back to myself, rebounding-wise. So hopefully I can keep it going and keep it going up.
In those first 2 games, I mean, you guys obviously like to play quickly, but Steve said you were playing in a hurry, and that's leading to a lot of turnovers, fouls, not as good decision-making. What did you guys do to control the pace of this game a little bit more, slow it down?
I feel like we played fast, but we were moving the ball, playing together, and not playing as fast as before. We were just taking our time, getting the good shots, and, going from good to great.
How different is it when the other team is running box of ones, trapping, and paying all this attention to Steph? Do you feel the space out there when you're operating?
Yeah, for sure. For sure. When Steph's on the court, it's going to take like 3 guys to guard him, because he's, that special. He just frees up the court for, everyone else to, get open shots, make plays, and just, the floor opens up.
Cool.